So welcome to episode 8 of the Let's Be Honest podcast with himself, Peter, Paul and Stuart. How are we this week?
Very good. Another busy week, Pistol.
Another busy week, yeah.
For the people, yeah, another busy week. You were that busy today, Banford, you couldn't even make the proper time. You were that busy.
No, I was aware that you guys were waiting, so I've managed to put on a black top. Like, you can tell I'm wearing clothes. Nothing requires being ironed, but black top, navy bottoms, no socks. And yeah, what a way to start the day.
You got your Speedos on?
I've nothing underneath this.
Oh,
Commando.
Yeah.
Commando. Yeah.
Black and navy is a huge no.
I always was under that impression, but in more recent times, I haven't been afraid to combine certain elements of navy and black. Because let's be honest, at this point, what have I got to lose? But I have heard from people that are into fashion that's an old rule that no longer applies. But I'm not about to go outside dressed like this.
Can we speak about fashion? Can we speak about some of the stuff that people are wearing these days?
Or not?
Or not?
Mm.
I was at the Girls Aloud gig last night. And there was a girl sitting in front of me, and I honestly thought that she was fully naked.
Wow.
Because all that she had was a little bit of string. Her full back was open, and she had a little bit of string going around her back, which was then holding her front on. Basically, she was wearing a bikini.
Paul is completely aroused right now.
and then there's other people who baggy clothes is the new trend. I think I'm not speaking like I'm into fashion, but you know, like girls wearing like, and even guys wearing massive baggy trousers and hoodies that are like 3 times the size.
Well, but listen, that's nothing when you look at the Yanks, right? And go in and look at the Yanks. And where's their arses around your knees? So the fashion there is you got to show your boxers, right?
Yeah.
And then your jeans hang around your knees. And you walk about with a swag you can hardly open your bloody legs anyway to walk because of the trousers are around your knees. But that's the fashion.
Particularly young kids, Girls Aloud was probably mostly women in their late 30s and gay men.
Yeah, pretty much I would say, yeah. But although in saying that, there was more guys at it than I expected. I was afraid I was going to be, one in 20 people surrounding me. But I enjoyed the gig, but I don't know if it was worth the money.
Well, the thing is, right, let's be honest. These girls aren't up to much these days. And from what I've seen, it looks slick, the show. But what I've noticed is it's the 4 girls up on stage with some backing dancers. There doesn't appear to be a live band, which I think they may have had back in their heyday. Just big screens, giving you hit after hit. You said there was a DJ opening for them, so even that would imply sort of scaled back, a bit of a cash grab.
Now, what I will say is, and I don't know if this is, me getting older or anything, but the DJ was on for an hour. I think it was like 7:30 to nearly 9 o'clock. And it was so loud. Like my watch kept flashing up saying 100 dB, and you can only suffer 3 minutes of this sound before it starts damaging your ears. Wow. And I was like, it was so loud. And I'm not just saying that, like it was so loud.
Mine normally pops up my watch with your blood pressure is over 100.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Did the DJ take a break for the buffet? No, I remember years ago seeing Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, and that was the loudest gig I've ever been to. It was so loud that the pressure on my ears was that of when an airplane was landing.
That's exactly the feeling I got. And when I walked out of the arena, now when Girls Aloud were on, it was fine. It was just that DJ's music, and it ruined it for me. I wanted to step out of the room, and Girls Aloud didn't come on the stage till about 9:10.
See, that DJ warm-up thing screams to me cheapness. It just screams.
And do you know what he was doing?
Poor gig.
The whole night, clapping and pointing.
Oh, well, that's the latest thing. You got a point. So basically, that tells me that he's been playing off a USB stick, all pre-mixed, and he just points.
Do you know the other thing that he was doing? And every DJ that I see keeps doing it. As soon as he presses play in the song, in your head, because you know music, he's probably got at least a minute of that song to play. But as soon as he presses play, he's already fiddling with the knobs, and he's constantly fiddling with, like, what is he doing? What is he doing?
Acting. Look, the days of the DJ entertainer have gone, and it's a case of bring down your USB stick, stick it in, stand there and point, twiddle the knobs.
And he didn't even have a mic.
Probably find the controller's not even connected.
But he wasn't interact. He didn't have a mic. He didn't speak to the crowd. He just stood there for an hour and a half and just played tunes.
Oh,
But
I'm probably well paid for it too.
but having said that, what I'm seeing from their shows in Dublin and Belfast so far is overwhelming positive response, and it's girls having a couple of drinks and taking a trip down memory lane. So maybe I'm looking at it being a bit hypercritical. I don't think necessarily those girls would care if there's a bass player standing there.
On the flip side, it was, as you say, a good show. They had like motorbikes. They came out in motorbikes across the audience and
Oh,
big blow up dresses and
Stuart.
so it was a good show and like nostalgic. Like to be fair, I knew every song.
And is this just a victory lap, a cash grab, or do you think there'll be new music?
It's funny because there's a TikTok going about of Cheryl doing this documentary. Was it maybe, I don't know, 5-10 years ago? And on the documentary, she says, I don't think there'll be a reunion because can you imagine when I'm in my 40s and I'm singing Love Machine?
No, I
And
think she says in my 30s.
I'm in 30s, is it?
Yeah.
And it's just, and then you see her on stage.
And what about, was Nadine Coyle's accent as annoying as ever?
No, to be fair, Nadine was, I would say, the best singer of the lot of them. She
Oh,
was very, very good live.
Okay.
Very good. One other thing I want to talk about is on the way home. I was more excited for the pizza on the way home, to be honest. But on the way home, is it bad to eat the takeaway the next morning?
Yeah,
Would
it's unhygienic for a start.
But see if you keep it. So currently, this is the situation in my house. In the kitchen, in the oven, there's a few slices of pizza in the cardboard box, in the oven. The oven door's closed. And I thought, I'll keep that for the morning.
That should be in the fridge.
I thought the fridge was bad.
No. It should be in the fridge. Yeah.
Oh.
You can't eat that out of the oven.
Oh, well, then that's that plan down.
Yeah,
So
it should be in the fridge.
the likes of like a kebab the next morning, would that not be a thing?
I wouldn't do
No.
that. I would do pizza, and I would do probably Chinese food. But
Oh, Chinese food?
No, I wouldn't do Chinese food the next day. Absolutely not.
I think
Or
it's all
Indian
right.
food. I wouldn't do any of that food the next day. Absolutely not.
Sometimes because I live alone, I will get a Domino's 2 for Tuesday, and I will eat the second entire pizza the following day.
Correct.
So it's Wednesday then?
Would you reheat it up? I'd be a bit afraid of that.
Of
What,
course.
the pizza?
Mm.
Well, if it was in the fridge, it'll be fine.
So I'm screwed then.
Yeah, you wouldn't eat it out of the bloody oven. You put it in the oven.
I put it in the oven, but it's inside the cardboard box.
It wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter what sense. It should be in the fridge.
But what's going to happen to it?
Well, it's going to have bacteria
Well,
in the heat.
if he got it last night and it's this morning, if he eats it now, would it not be all right?
Well, look, at the end of the day, and let's be honest, it's only bread and tomato sauce and a wee bit of cheese. Is there chicken on it or anything like that?
Oh, no, there's just ham and mushroom.
Well, that might be all right, but if it was chicken or any sort of thing like that, that would need to be in the fridge.
I've
Where'd you
been
get your
wrong.
So I'm led to believe, anyway. I wouldn't put anything. I wouldn't, if I came home with something like that, I certainly wouldn't put it in the oven. I'd put it in the fridge. Anything like that in the fridge. And here's the other story as well. Would you say, for example, you went and bought a piece of meat or something and it said use by the 13th and it was the 14th, would you still use it?
Oh, no, in the bin.
Would you?
In the
No, I
bin.
would use it.
Oh, no, in the bin. Even as far as the best before, where they say like best before is just like a guideline, it's in the bin by that
Isn't it?
date.
No,
I would-
use it.
No, I'd be the same. And I've even found that a lot of those even ready meals you buy, say the date on it is the 14th of the month. Sometimes you'll check it on like the 13th, and if you actually examine it, it's already off. It's showing signs of. Here's one for you. My brother Mark would eat blue molded bread. He just says, "It's penicillin, knock it into you."
Oh,
Whereas I can't. I buy a fresh loaf pretty much every single day.
Oh, every
You
day.
eat a full loaf every day.
Not like a wee small loaf, but I want fresh bread every day.
But do you eat it? Would you eat a full one of those every day?
No. I'd probably only eat. I'd have some toast in the morning, and maybe at some point in the day have a sandwich. But I
So
would,
that's 4 slices.
yeah. But it's only a wee tiny half one. But I like my bread fresh.
Oh,
But like my partner Kirsten would be like, if milk is say that today is the date, she would be like, no, just open it and smell it, and if it smells okay, then it's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. She's dead on there.
I don't even know what milk is meant to smell like.
No, if it
Fresh, no
smells
smell.
like sour, it would smell off.
It's the same as fish, right? If fish smells fishy, it's off.
What?
If it doesn't smell fishy, it's not off. Like prawns. If you were to smell prawns and they smell fishy, they're off. But
You
if,
see,
if
that's where I just go by the date and throw it out.
if there's no smell, they're not. I'm talking about prawns. I'm very partial to a prawn cocktail, right? Or a prawn salad. So I was out in a certain store the other day. Initials are M&S, and I picked up 4 prawn salads. Okay,
Mhm.
brought them home. Never thought about it. Brought them home. Threw them in the fridge. Had one that night for my tea. Next day, I thought I'll have one of them. They were all off, all past their sell-by date.
Mm.
So they were like bought on the 12th and that they'd be used by the 13th.
Mm.
So my lesson and my moral out of that is once you go to anywhere
Uh-huh.
and you buy stuff like that, look at the bloody label. I don't. I just grab them and put them in the thing and away.
So yeah, like she would be, if there's bread on the shelf, she'd be pulling the bread off the front and looking into the back to see if there's better dates in the back.
Yeah, same with the milk. Same with the
Oh,
milk because they bring all that stuff to the front to get rid of it. And then obviously the fresher milk and all's at the back.
Is
But if it's used by, like, for example, last night, what did I have for my tea last night? Oh, I had a burger last night, and it was used by, what date's this? This is the 22nd.
22nd. Yeah.
It was used by the 20th, but I did it last night. It was fine.
Oh no. See,
Yeah,
I'd be living the next day in fear then in case something hit me.
it was fine. Just make sure it's well cooked. It smelled all right. Make sure it's well cooked. It was grand.
is
Mm.
is is I don't think. Well, is scampi a prawn?
Yes,
Okay, I was going to say I don't think I've ever had a prawn, but I've had
but there's no
scampi.
such a thing as scampi. It's a prawn and batter or breadcrumbs. It was called scampi.
I was called scampi. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't really do fish fruit. Tuna is about my height of it.
No, I don't. Well, I could have a tuna and onion sandwich, but my main fish thing would be monkfish. You ever get monkfish? Monkfish is lovely.
No.
Do you ever maybe that?
Especially a monkfish curry.
But
Really nice.
do you ever stand in like a sandwich shop or a sandwich shop, and you overhear someone's order, and instantly you judge that person? You go, how the hell do you eat that?
Like some of the things in Subway that I've heard people getting like tuna and chicken tikka together, and just the mixes of things is just, I don't know. People are weird.
Can I jump back to the which interested me there in your pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you use one of the online, well, not online, one of the mainstream pizzas, or would you use like an independent run pizza?
Recently, I've gone independent.
They're much better.
I think they're much better, and they're, well, obviously they're nearly half the price. But what put me off is the amount of calories that is in, and in that chain that you're talking about that everyone uses. The amount of calories that is in the dip alone
Mm.
was insane.
Now I've looked it up to see how it's all put together. So all that dough comes in from a lorry and it's just thumped down on a table and a drop of sauce put on it. But the independent guys make it,
Yep, like
sort of
wood
more
fired and
fresh.
all. And
Yeah, it's totally different, right?
Mhm.
But that leads me nicely into a photograph that has surfaced today. Or in fact, it might have surfaced yesterday in a fast food burger joint. Okay. Obviously in the States, the one with the golden arches. They're fries. Okay. And over the top of the fries, they have the mops hanging drying.
Oh, no way.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I thought you were going to say? Because I saw a clip this morning which really turned me. Somebody, again, it was American. Somebody, and again, do you believe everything you see online? But somebody had ordered like an egg McMuffin, and from a distance it looked fine, but when he zoomed in on it, there appeared to be. I mean, they didn't really know what it was, but it almost looked like wee maggots or wee tadpoles floating around the egg.
That's the That's the sperm of the cock.
Wow. I'm,
But
I'm loving it.
but did they not say? Oh, by the way, the amount of
Why do they
calories.
actually mate anyway, those chickens? Did you ever see a chicken mating? I don't know how
No,
that works.
that's been in my search history.
I was going to say, I mean, there's a niche for everything these
Yeah, I
days,
just
but
don't know
I'm
how
not
that
saying.
works. There was a thing there last week as well where people went into a fried chicken place and
Uh,
the head of the chicken was actually deep fried and came out in the box.
can I say something which will turn you? I have always been a big fan of the McDonald's ketchup because it must be like a cheaper ketchup, but there's like something sour about it that's good with the chips. And you know the way you go over to the thing, you press down, and it goes into the wee container.
Hmm.
So it's you pump.
Yep.
So I was recently in a McDonald's and I was standing behind a woman waiting for her to move so I could get some ketchup. And she was taking forever and ever. And I could only see the back of her. So I saw the wrist like pressing down. Then when I looked round to see what was taking so long, she was pressing the ketchup down onto her finger. And then she was standing there in the restaurant licking her finger and then pressing down it and then licking her finger. And I haven't been able to have their ketchup since.
Did you bring that to staff's attention?
No, I just left it a
Why?
napkin and ate my food. I don't think that's. Well, I get your point, but at the end of the day, I judged her more than. I mean, the damage was done.
That's what I keep telling you about the buffets at the weddings. Lifting the sandwiches and then no go like that and setting it back.
Yeah.
That's why you got to get up there first.
But to hear McDonald's are now changing the way that they're cooking their burgers and all, like there's no they're what is they're doing something like they're making different grills so it gets to a hotter temperature to bring the flavor out or something. So really they're cooking them properly now. Like it makes you think what they were doing before. But and they're also saying like the lettuce for the burgers, it's going to come straight from the fridge now instead of I suppose brought in frozen or something would it be and defrosted. But they're changing the way they're making things to make them fresher.
Take a lot of change.
Do you know if I mean I know you have a
When was the
blessed.
last time you ever got a McDonald's that looked like one of the posters?
I got a McDonald's last night before that gig, and I went for a
You had
McChicken
McDonald's
sandwich.
before and a pizza after?
Yeah.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah. That explains the weight gain. The McChicken sandwich came out, and as you say, the poster looks. Oh, there's loads of lettuce, there's loads of sauce on top. It came out 2 bits of bread and a slice of chicken.
Aye.
And tell me this, would you two seriously, because I just refuse to do it, would you two seriously go up to a McDonald's order window and say, I'll have 2 McChickens and 4 McFlurries? Would you not just say, I'll have 2 chicken sandwiches and 4 ice creams? Do you use that terminology?
No,
McChickens?
I use the
And
terminology.
what's that other thing? A filet-o-fish or whatever they call that?
Mm-hmm.
I use
Would
it.
you do that?
I
Yeah,
would
I
just
use
go up the
the
window and say, "Can I have an ice cream?"
Well, but that's all it is.
Aye, but they do more
Would
than
you go and say, I'll have 4 McFlurries?
aye, but they do more than one. Like they do more than one ice cream, and then you have to specify which one you want.
Well, it's very simple. I'll have a caramel ice cream or a caramel Oreo ice cream, whatever the case. Yeah, I'm not going to stand at a friggin' with some wee doll. I'll have 4 McFlurries.
What's wrong with that?
You're saying
That's not 4 McFlurries and 3 McFillet-O-Fishes. Wise up.
it's the
People
same
don't
amount
talk
of
like that.
syllables. Ice cream and McFlurry is the same syllables. You're not
But
wasting. You're
people
not.
don't talk like you don't go and say, here, pissed, I was out last night and I had 4 McFlurries.
Aye, but would
And
you
4 ice creams.
would you go into Burger King and just say give me a burger, or would you say Whopper?
Oh, I point normally at the picture and say, give me one of those.
Okay.
But see
Or
what I do now.
they do like an Angus steak burger or whatever that case may be. But I certainly wouldn't be going in and saying, can I have 4 McFlurries?
What's wrong with that?
That's nonsense. 4 Mc. Just give me 4 of those ice creams.
Could you as a grown man go in and order a noogie pot?
No.
All right.
Would
Okay.
you go and order a 99?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Or would you say with an ice cream with a flake in it?
No, 99.
99.
Yeah, that sounds okay. But would you go in and order, say, a Mc 99? It's complete nonsense. And there's the other one that gets me. Bloody McNuggets. Give me 4 chicken nuggets. Not give me 4 McNuggets. McNuggets.
Brand.
I think you should maybe just use the touchscreen.
Oh.
But what about...
But you can't do it because you can't order the chips without the salt.
This is what I was going to say, and you've probably mentioned this before. A wee life hack, Paul Scott. Go ahead.
Yeah. You got to go when you're going in looking for the McChips, right?
You said it there! When that's not even... They just call them fries. You've unnecessarily added
Well,
them.
everything's Mc. Everything's Mc. When you're looking for the McChips, you tell them no McSalt because that means then they have to do the McChips fresh. And they don't pour the 4 ton of salt over the top of them. So at least they come out warm. And when you're ordering then the McBurger, tell them to take out the McPickle because that means then they have to actually put it together properly with no McPickle. And it means it's not been sitting in the McHeater for ages.
In fairness to these guys, right, okay, these are very busy. You know, it's a global brand. And they have open plan kitchens. Whereas just because you go into a more upmarket, more expensive restaurant, maybe you can't see into the kitchen. God knows what's going on in there.
So here's the other story then, Banford, right? You and I were out for a burger the other day, right? And we'll get to the coffee thing in a minute.
Oh,
But you and I were out for a burger the other day, which was half price, okay? And we entered the restaurant and ordered, well, first of all, inquired what was the half price food. And we ordered the burgers. Now, the burger thing that I ordered, as you know, was £19, right?
Uh-huh.
Just madness. But it was reduced. It was half price for that day. So that made it, what, a tenner? So it was a tenner.
We went for a quick burger, chips, and a beer, right?
Mhm.
Then, perhaps unnecessarily, but as two greedy men, we went across the street and had coffee. Paul had, what'd you have? Like a, what was it?
It was a small piece of cheesecake, like a
Right.
biscuit, a circular biscuit with a bit of cream and a half a strawberry.
And I had a caramel square. 2 coffees, Americanos. How much, Pistol?
2 coffees, probably, I don't know, maybe $3.20 for 1 coffee, $6.40.
Now add on his tray bake and add on the bit of cheesecake biscuit thing.
£8-9.
Do you want to break the news there, Banford?
Hang on, I'm thinking like $6.40 for the coffees, and then what? Maybe $1.20-ish for the cakes. So 7, 8, yeah, no more than £9
Do you want to break the
17 pounds.
off.
2 Americanos, water, and a spoonful of coffee, a small biscuit with a piece of cream on it, and a strawberry, and he had a tray bake, £17.
How? But what was bringing the price up so much? Is it the coffee?
It was only Americanos.
I mean, it was, and they're not, they're like wee cups like that.
It was a smaller cup than that, Banford.
Right.
And the other thing, the other burger meal business would have worked out, only it was allegedly half price, would have worked out at £58. Me?
I want to show you a picture that I took on my way to the gig last night on the Boucher Road, which you're probably well aware. Sometimes they have a DJ inside this petrol station because of the alcohol section, right? The alcohol section included this 3-litre bottle of Grey Goose for £300 inside the petrol station. So my question was, who is going in to get fuel, but also having to go into the alcohol section to get something like that, which is completely ridiculous. All these cocktails, and it was more an alcohol shop than it was a petrol station.
And
The
there's a
alcohol
DJ.
section. And my friend was saying he was in 2 weeks ago. It was a Friday night or something, and they had a DJ in the corner.
Doing what?
DJing.
Was it you or Chris Armstrong had played before at a roadshow in a petrol station?
Oh well, that was that
That was Bristol, yeah.
Yeah.
Bristol in Ballymena, I think, doing a petrol station.
But when have you ever went in for petrol and spent more on the alcohol than you have in the petrol?
Well, I mean that seems like very expensive for how much is a litre normally? It's not about 40 quid, no?
But they had like these vintage wines and all, and it was like, it kind of defeats the purpose. You're driving, but you're going to buy alcohol.
Aye.
But you could be going to a party.
Well, you could be going to, I suppose that. But I was quite
Going
amazed.
to a party with
What
the McFlurry.
what's the most expensive? I don't know. I don't want to focus on alcohol. But what's the most expensive drink you've ever bought in your life?
Oh,
Um,
I
oh,
think it was a bottle of, if I remember back, it was a bottle of champagne for my mum's 70th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in Newcastle, and it was around about £375.
and did it taste any different?
By the time everybody got some, I didn't get any.
Hmm.
See, this is the thing, because I think even when it comes to wine, sometimes I would buy like a 7 or 8 pound bottle of wine, and it's grand.
Pistol, what restaurant do you go to where you get a £7 or £8 bottle of
No,
wine?
I just mean in the off license in the shop.
Oh, right,
In the
right,
shop.
right. Because I was going to ask you to give me the recommendations immediately.
Yeah, but sometimes you would buy like a 30, 40 pound bottle of wine, and it's disgusting.
I was out for lunch a couple of weeks ago, right? With some new colleagues that I recently met, and we went to a hotel in Belfast, like an introductory type thing, and lunch for two, £201.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Two
Who,
hundred and one
who
pound. The
is
bottle of
paying?
wine or something. The bottle of wine was something like £65.
Are you into? Have you ever been to an afternoon tea?
Not lately,
No, I've never been to one.
but
No.
again, that's very expensive.
Mm.
Those hotels in Belfast are all catching in on that, right?
Mm.
And an afternoon tea, I saw one advertised the other day. Funny enough, £75, and all you're getting scones, coffee, prosecco, wee tray bakes, and some sandwiches, and it was £75 a head.
Mm.
And you know the best about it? Fully booked.
Wow. Wow. But we
Fully booked.
went through a ridiculous phase of on Sunday afternoons sitting in the likes of Bert's Jazz Bar for hours, knocking back, old fashions at £15 a go, to the point where Paul, you had the manager's number on speed dial, and he was ring ahead, I'll save you a seat, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, that was all worth it. And I can still do that, which is great. I can still ring down and book a table, which is great. But I'll tell you something, and I've said this to you before. Okay, that's £2 or £3 more expensive than going around the corner and sitting on a wooden bench outside underneath an umbrella. So
I
you get what you pay for, but if you pay that wee bit extra, you get that wee bit more. And don't forget, those guys are constantly coming over to you. The service is good. There's water being provided. You get the drink, you get the everything. But fair enough. By the time you take the ice out of it, you're getting very little. But why would you go and sit around the corner on a wooden bench
well, I think
and pay £13?
uh, but I think somewhere like that's okay to nip in for one or two. But we used to sit there for hours.
Well, that was until the point, Bamford, where you actually got up and went to the toilet and never came back
That's right, I did do that.
and left me with a
Does that
bill.
happen?
That's right, I did do
Yeah,
that.
and left me with a bill, 200 and something pound.
That's right.
Buggered off to the toilet, sitting like plunkers. What's keeping him? What's keeping him? And you went home.
I did do that. Yeah,
Oh, you never explained that.
I do. Now, I admit this, right? Whenever I've had too much to drink, if I hit a wall or that part of the night when I've had enough, I do have a habit, and I'm
But
going.
there's a bill.
I'm going. I'm going. I'm going to a weekly group to work through this issue. I do have a habit of not saying
Paying the
goodbye.
bill.
No, they're not saying goodbye. Just slipping off into the night.
But there's the bill. The people are left with the bill. So if we all got up and did that, where would we end up?
How long did you sit there for, realizing that he was gone?
Half an hour.
You thought
I was very worried and concerned about him, and I went there and he wasn't there. So where is he? Where'd he go? He left.
It was like a first date.
I read on the entertainment thing, was it yesterday, the day before, some restaurant in England, they had a group of 11 people in, and they ordered up a bill, and it was like 670 something pound, and they all got up and left.
Seen
Yeah,
that?
You see that?
Yeah.
And
How-
the wee doll in the reception area, or wherever she was, she thought they were all going out for a smoke, but they never came back.
How do you ever think you're going to get away with that these days, though, with cameras and
Well, that's Bamford. He got away with.
I think, if as long as you don't let other people in on your plan, it's achievable.
How
But
did you feel the next day about that? Like contacting your friends, or sorry, lack of contacting your friends to
I
say,
think
sorry, how much do I owe there for that part of the bill?
I think, again, equally one of my worst qualities, and I'm working on as well, is generosity. And I think that what goes around comes around, and I think that, and again, you're a man, you were with other people of hefty disposable means. It was not an issue. Nobody was going to be washing dishes.
Here's the thing: if you're out for a meal, um, do you split the bill when you're out, or do you see? In our friend group, there's one particular person who thinks it's very awkward to split the bill, so he would rather put all the money in his card, and then you have to send him through your bank transfer. You have to send him the money for him to pay the final bill.
Right.
Whereas I just think if you just go up and split the bill, just say what you had and pay what you had.
But here's the other thing, right? These people on these tills don't know how to split the bill,
That's another thing.
right? They don't know how to do it. I think it might have even been the three of us out one day, and I think it was 60 quid. And we said to her, that's £20 each. She says, will they get the calculator?
And no,
Do you remember?
I think I picked that bill up that day.
No, I don't think so, Banter.
No, it was definitely.
No,
It was after we'd recorded an episode of another podcast.
No. But my point being,
no, I'll make the point.
No.
Here's the receipt.
When the point's saying it was £60, she says, no, I'll have to. Well, hold on, I'll work that out. No, it's £20 each. But and now they've got signs up. We do not split bills.
Yeah. Or sometimes it says our software can't split the bills.
Nonsense. Right, nonsense. You know what I mean? But here's the story. If I'm out, and you two will justify this, I cannot stand, right? And especially when it comes to the next round of drinks, everybody's sitting looking at everybody else to see who's actually going to buy a round of the bloody drink or pay the bill. So I would tend to jump in there.
Well,
I hate that. I hate that embarrassment.
I think if the likes of Paul and myself are out, we, like a couple, we will take turns. But if there's anybody else into the mix, usually there's a splitting element going on.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one for you, and I thought this was a lovely gesture. I'm in a WhatsApp group with some fellow country fans, and last Friday I happened to be in a Nando's. I'm not a big fan of Nando's, slightly more upmarket, expensive KFC, but anyway, I was in a Nando's with a friend, John Kerr, and another guy in this WhatsApp group said, what are you up to? We're in Nando's, whatever. What's your table number? We said, da, 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 da. And next thing, some drinks were sent over from this person who's based in Dublin.
Very good.
Nando's don't do drink.
They do.
Not in Belfast, they don't.
They do.
Do they?
They do.
I think they do.
I didn't know that.
That's dear, but yeah.
I've also seen there's a Facebook group for Weatherspoons, and you go on, and if you're in Weatherspoons, you post your table number, and people within the group, you kind of, if you give someone a drink, they'll give you a drink back. So, but you can end up, some people have been, barred from the actual bar because there's been too many drinks clogging up the system.
But then I've seen some viral videos of what you're talking about, Pistol, where Weatherspoons and people sending drinks over, and like you'll have guys sitting there, and next thing a pint of Guinness will arrive, and then next thing there'll be a Jack Daniels and Coke, and next thing they've got a glass of red wine. It's just a fucking recipe to make yourself sick.
Yeah, and it's dangerous as well because people will send stupid things to your table. They'll send like a portion of beans, or just something. I
want to bring something up, Pistol. So
last night's dinner
on Friday night, I was invited round to my dad's away on holiday, so my mum and dad's for a barbecue, and I hadn't been round in a few weeks, so it was pleasant. And then towards the end of the night, just before I was leaving, I decided to go upstairs for a quick pee. But when I was coming back down the stairs, it was quite dark. Okay, I didn't turn a light on, but I was going down the stairs, and as I say, being slightly unfamiliar with my surroundings, but I want to bring this up because my mum is notorious for doing it, and I've heard a few stand-up comedians bring this up, saying it's a female trait. So I'm going down the stairs in the darkness. I hit the third from bottom stair, and my mum had a box of Coors Light on the stairs, which I hit, right?
Yeah.
Didn't fall down the stairs, but completely lost my balance. and then trying to stabilize myself, I reached for the banister, but in panic and whatever, my hand overextended, missed the banister, and look, smacked my arm off the banister. And I've never felt a pain like that. It was like a shooting fire, right? And my mum came out as my brother's gathering up like loose tins of Coors Light. My mum had a couple of glasses of wine, so she's laughing in my face and going like, ha 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 ha, and like, shut up, you big pussy. What are you, a man or whatever? And then she goes, don't worry, I've got a cream that'll, if I rub that on your arm, you'll get no bruise and it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And as we're making our way to the kitchen to get the cream, I'm going, I think my arm's broken. And she goes, it'd be disfigured if it was broken, shut up. So she opens the fridge and then she rubs this cream on me, and even her touching my arm was really sore at the time. But there you go, she, no bruising, look at that. But
Yeah,
she
for
may have
those
rubbed,
that are listening, Banford has a small mark on his arm.
and she may have rubbed mayonnaise on my arm. But yeah, like, look at that. That's severe.
Yeah. I suppose what you're getting at is that a thing that women do and leave stuff on the stairs?
Yes.
Yes. Is the short answer. In our house, if something's left on the stairs, it means that you have to bring it up. You can't go up the stairs empty-handed.
Well, when I used to live there, I used to bring up the box of Coors Light.
Yeah.
But,
No, but I would go to the stairs sometimes, and there'd be washing. There would be even from the top of the stairs, there'd be like a dirty cup or something that was upstairs. Leave it on the stairs to bring down because you'll notice it as you're going down.
do you know what I
Pistol
did?
really has it made, hasn't he? Like, Pistol really has it made.
Do you know what I
Hasn't he?
did?
Like, tea and coffee made, ironing done,
No,
bed
no.
changed.
I'm the one who has to bring the stuff down the stairs when it's when I notice it.
I bet you're not doing the ironing, Pistol.
I would do the odd. Well, no, okay. I wouldn't do the household ironing, but I would iron
No.
a shirt.
And I bet you don't change the quilt either, do you?
Tried that, but it took me 15 minutes to take the cover off and put a new one on.
Uh-huh.
I was actually at one point inside the quilt.
Oh.
No?
Whoa.
But there's no easy way to do it. And people say, oh, if you turn it inside out and you work it that way, you can't do that one-handedly.
Oh.
You can't. Do you change your quilt?
Well, who else is going to do it?
you do have
You
a
can come
maid,
down,
though.
Pistol, and crawl inside my quilt.
No thanks.
You do have a housekeeper.
She doesn't change the bed, Banford.
Okay. If you asked her to.
Okay, but how talk me through it. How do you go about taking the quilt cover off and putting the new one back on again?
Well, not to sound uneducated, but you pull the cover off the quilt. Right.
But what's your tactic? Do you
Open up the bottom buttons and pull it off?
And do you get the corner of the quilt into the new cover, and do you
Yeah,
hold the corner?
Stick your hand up inside the quilt and grab the corner and pull it through inside out, and then pull it over and then hold the whole thing up and give it a good shake.
At that point, though, I'm on top of the bed.
No, well, I'm not. Well, I'm not. I'm standing just the bottom of the bed.
I just feel you can't get enough. You can't get enough energy to get the quilt down to the bottom.
You can't get enough energy.
No, if you're standing on top of the bed, you get a wee bit of momentum.
Right. And what then after that?
Well, I'm standing on top of the bed. I've got two corners in each hand. And I'm doing that.
Oh,
like waving the quilt down. So
like a flag?
Huh?
You waving it like a flag?
Yeah. So it all comes down, and then you can button then the bottom of it, and then you do the same on the other end. You
obviously crawl out from the quilt before you button it up.
Yes. Yeah.
You wouldn't button it up with you inside the quilt.
But then what I seen on, was it like one of those like TV daytime this morning or something? They were saying if you turn the quilt inside out.
But you can't turn the quilt inside out. The quilt is
the cover. Quilt. I mean the cover. If you turn the cover inside out.
Well, I would drag it through from the corners inside out and then try and shove the quilt. It's a hateful gig. I hate it. It's a hateful gig.
And I can only imagine what it's like to be like a maid in a hotel.
But you would never know, Banford. When was the last time you actually did change your quilt?
So I do change it fairly regularly.
Do you?
Yeah.
How do you go about it?
I just persist. I mean, I do get out of breath at some point. Maybe midway through, I'll take a break and have a beer.
Right.
See, if I had to do that multiple times a day,
You'd be drunk.
No, but same respect. If you did it day in, day out, you'd become an expert at it.
I don't think you can ever. I don't think that would ever become easy.
Yeah.
Wonder, is there a service that'll come around and change your bed?
You could be on something there
I would look into that. If there would be a service that would actually come around and change your bed
because I would pay for that.
once a fortnight.
No, but like as a fully functioning grown man, to rely on that service seems a little lazy.
No. You see, what you would use would be a fully functioning grown man who's extremely busy.
They can't change his bed,
But he's extremely busy.
but he can stand at the door letting them in. It takes the same amount of time.
No, I'd leave the key on the windowsill.
That is a business idea.
Well,
Because
three of us, the bed
I'm only talking about double. Imagine getting to a king or a queen mat. How would you even?
Well, mine is a king.
I'd be lost.
Well, you'd be crawling up and down this. Mine is a king.
Well, me and
Couldn't
Paul were
sleep in a double bed these days, Pistol. Are you in a double bed?
I think so.
A double
Maybe it's what's the one up from double?
queen.
No, it's not. I don't think it's a queen. Super
Well,
double.
what is it?
Super double. Is that a thing? No.
No, it can't be a super double. It's double queen king, isn't it?
I think
Super
I
king.
think I'm just double.
Super king's the big one, 6'6" or something.
It's not a cigarette. I think I think it's just double.
You're in a double bed.
I think so.
Flip me.
Well, me and Paul were talking about the fact
Not while we were in bed. We weren't talking about it. Banford.
we were talking about the fact that you are a bit of a jack of all trades, Pistol, bit of an entrepreneur. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the next fortnight you do launch a bed changing business. Although we'll probably, hear about you in the news. You've been trapped under a quilt somewhere or something.
Yeah,
But
we'll probably hear that on this Burns 98.
No,
Yes.
see,
speaking of which, how was your country night at the Crafty Hound? Because we heard your interview with Dave Lamont.
my country gig. To be fair, for the first gig, it went very well. It went very well. Decent amount of people showed up. I was afraid of turning up and there'd be no one there.
Right.
There was a lot of people went full dress up. They came in like outfits and cowboy hats and
I don't
Like
like
Halloween.
line dancing outfits and
that. I don't like that.
you don't like that?
Nah, it's like country music needs you gotta respect it. It's not bloody fancy dress.
But cowboy hats are part of country music.
They were. It's a cliche. Not
Oh, is it?
not
Well, you
anymore.
tell Jason Aldean that then.
Well,
No.
okay, I'll give Aldine a Bible.
But what I will say is
Give him a
though,
bell and say, dump the country hat.
what I will say is though, in especially in this country, I found it hard to know what to play because you had like the 18-year-old who had just came from the Balmoral show that day and wearing a that spar hat, and then you had the line dancer who was 60, 70 years of age. So it's such a hard genre to play for.
Yeah, that is.
Well, according to your interview on Lisbon's 98, you were going to play the Eagles.
I played the Eagles, and do you know what I did? Do you know what I
You get in
resorted?
town?
Well, what was funny was I've noticed the last couple of country after parties in Limelight where there's been more authentic country acts like Lainey Wilson and John Party in the Ulster Hall. Whenever you play the likes of Beyonce, Texas Hold'em, you will get a few snobs going, "What are you doing playing this? This isn't country music."
Mhm.
Whereas there was a guy in the Limelight on Sunday night called Bailey Zimmerman who very much crossover into pop, very social media savvy, touring with Morgan Wallen, and yet completely different crowd where they were coming up and asking for Maniac 2000.
Wow.
The country version?
No, just Maniac 2000.
Well, but that's the way that country music genre now is going. It's going into that pop phase, and that's trying to scoop up that whole younger genre. So that's
Yep.
where that's going.
And hopefully that will spill into the likes of Philomena Begley.
But I mean, it went well for a first gig. Yeah, it went well.
Well,
It can only get better.
I'm doing Farmer's Bash after party, so that's going to be an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
Anything for a buck, Banford. Anything for a buck.
I will literally suck a dick.
And on that note, I think we'll end this episode.
Yeah. Tell you something, Banford, you're not coming up to change my quilt. That's one sure thing.
Oh.
Right, I got a radio show today. I'm away.
Yes, on that note, like and subscribe.
Bye.
Funk.